Hi, everybody! We're back to offer recommendations for books, movies, music, and more that you can check out from the Carmel Clay Public Library. I'm Catherine, and I'm joined today by Susan. Susan, what's your recommendation for this month?
Well, calling all true crime fans, history fans, medical history fans, law enforcement history fans, this book has it all. I recently read the newly released The Case of the Murderous Dr. Cream. Dr. Thomas Neil Cream was a physician who was trained in Canada in the late 1880s and did further medical training in England and Scotland. Along the way, he murdered people in Canada, the United States, and England. Rather an impressive feat if you're a determined serial killer. Thomas Cream grew up in a well-to-do family in Canada. He apparently was a faithful church attendee, taught Sunday school, and had a beautiful singing voice. He worked for a time in the shipping business and was respected and successful in that endeavor. He then decided he wanted to attend medical school. He graduated and then set up his practice in a small Canadian town where he met his first wife. His specialty was poisons, specifically poisoning with strychnine. It's unclear when Thomas Cream went off the rails, but circumstances seem to say that right around the time that he left the family nest and headed off to medical school, he kind of adopted a rather excessive lifestyle and hung out with ladies of the night who also, unfortunately, were his most likely victims. He was not satisfied with murder alone. In a bid to raise more money, he would try to blackmail well-to-do people by threatening to go to the police or the press and tell them that they were responsible for the murder of one of his own victims. And in one case, the police had not even realized this woman had been murdered and ended up going back and exhuming her body and realized that she had been poisoned. Eventually, the police caught up with Thomas Cream. The blackmail scheme got to him. He was initially arrested because of the blackmail scheme, and that's how they kept him in jail. And then they sent, very intelligently, a Scotland Yard detective over to the United States and Canada, and he literally tracked his trail of disasters, I guess you would say, through both those countries. This is a really interesting read and explores not only Thomas Cream, but also the medical training that was going on at that time period. And then there really goes into the lack of cohesive law enforcement procedures and communication between departments. So that's also super interesting. So anyway, check this book out. It's available in our library in print and also in Libby in Overdrive. What about you, Catherine?
I love that spooky recommendation of true crime for October. It's true crime podcast, true crime TV, true crime books. We are all set. There's so many good
Yes,
ones.
exactly.
Unfortunately, we have so many true crime stories to learn about, but I did something creepy as well for October. I've been watching the new Why the Last Man TV show on FX through Hulu, and that is actually based off of a graphic novel series. And that is one of my favorite graphic novel series of all time. And Stephen King was even quoted as saying it is the best graphic novel he has ever read. It is one of the most critically acclaimed, best-selling comic book series of the last decade. Why the Last Man, like the letter Y, is the story of Yorick Brown. I love that name, Yorick. Yorick and his pet monkey named Ampersand, who he nicknames Amp. He is the last man left alive after a planet-wide plague kills off every mammal possessing a Y chromosome. And I did not pick this back up during COVID when we were really in the midst of things, but I think now I'm able to go back in and reread some of these. The 60 issues of Why the Last Man detail Yorick's travels as he searches for his lost love, Beth, and the answer to why is he the last man on Earth. So Why the Last Man is available with no holds as a digital graphic novel at hoopladigital.com with your library card, as well as in print from the Carmel Clay Public Library collection. You can check those out at carmelclaylibrary.org for Why the Last Man, true crime stories, and so much more. So thank you so much to Susan for her recommendation, and we will see you all next month for another book chat from the Carmel Clay Public Library. Bye.